Hello and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. There is a lot to discuss today, not just about Ripple and XRP but about the entire crypto and financial industries. And I assumed I'd kick off this video by discussing Web 1.0, 1.1, and 1.2. Thus, we are still technically in the Web 2.0 era. The total value of the Web 2.0 industry is around $20.10 trillion. If we compare this to the previous global expansion from Web version 1 to 2, we see that it increased by around a factor of 7. Jump at the chant 0.0, we get a number of nearly $139.30 trillion. Keep in mind that there is a lot revolving around this topic as we examine Web 3.0, as we discuss digitization and tokenization. What do I think about that $140 trillion number? Is there a final destination for Web 3? No way, no how. To me, there really is no cap on this. You have to consider the following: you can tokenize anything of value, including loans, bonds, stocks, and so on. At some point in the future, so it's important to keep that in mind. So, contemplate the enormous scale of Web 3.0 and the potential value we may assign to it. It's unbelievable in every way. Now, if we take a closer look, the reason I bring up Web 3 is because I anticipate huge success for companies like SBI. Long time, we have been particularly attentive to the name SBI in relation to Ripple, as they have not only been one of the greatest investors into Ripple but also a very large user of Ripples in the past. While news of Ripple and XRP has halted, a Ripple partner in Japan, Wrath of Cardamom SBI, has released its invested report for the year, focusing on SBI and VC trading for all cryptocurrency-related activities, and will prioritize sales through the web over cryptocurrency exchanges. On the left, Ripples are displayed as service providers that accept XRP and the XRP ledger. On the right, on-demand services and liquidity provided by SBI VC are displayed. Its clientele and income streams through both its cryptocurrency exchange and other Web3 related businesses. And some things are clearly visible. Pardon me. First of all, can you see that this is a business-to-consumer operation serving more than 550 institutional clients? So much things. Honestly, it's excellent to zero in on brands like SBI, for instance, which has ties to countless institutional clients as you survey the landscape. Well over a decade now, you could tell that institutions are extremely, and I mean extremely excited to utilize this technology, because they do see the overall benefit here. But since we can see Ripple, we're already here. Yeah, what other place do you know of that provides services based on XRP and the XRP ledger? That the potential use case for XRP and international remittances leveraging on-demand liquidity is quite vast. We see it as an opportunity even outside of the boundaries of Ripple with on-demand liquidity because we know the XRP ledger is growing exponentially every day and there are many developments taking place on the XRP ledger. Tokenization. To put it simply, there is a lot of material here. It is evident to me that the future surrounding Web3 is going to be extremely huge as we look at names like SBI that has ties to 550 plus institutional clients. Definitely go off with like the 7x return from Web 1 to Web 2, and ultimately, value Web 3 off of that. But I still think that this could very well be much larger than what anyone anticipates because this is a full-on evolution of the entire financial system before our eyes, and every single sector and industry will be touched by this. HKMA. First AKD pilot program. Hong Kong dollar pilot program, the Digital Pen Foundation Ripple has been chosen to exhibit a real estate asset tokenization solution. Yes, I have mentioned this in my two most recent films about XRP, as there is a lot to unpack when we investigate this special guest. To do so, I want to look back to last November to see how utility-based NFTs have been used to solve real-world challenges in the real estate industry. They published this piece on their website. Then, scrolling down, we discover that Leslie Alessandra sold a house in Gulfport, Florida for around $654,000 in early February of this year. As the first ever NFT sale in real estate, it set a new standard. On an American blockchain, along with other property sales as NFTs and payments in cryptocurrencies, plunged the real estate sector into a sea change. Art season tickets, carbon credits, and an increasing number of real estate NFTs are gaining popularity on the blockchain because they address real-world problems in the areas of process, efficiency, and transparency in the confirmation of ownership. The advantages, but it is important to keep in mind that there are other advantages as well. I'd always suggest a high-rise housing complex. Therefore, it is safer. The cost of the apartment complex is thus $10 million. The complex to a single investor is challenging because they would need $10 million. Let's say, though, that you manage to sell 10% of the apartment complex to 10 separate people for a total of $10 million. That's not only more convenient, but it also gives you the benefits of fractional ownership. And each of them has a 10% stake in the building's earning. Tokenization will play a pivotal role in the future of real estate fractionalization. There is a $300 trillion market for this worldwide. For those of us who aren't familiar with the lingo and other ins and outs of the real estate industry, buying, selling, or renting a home can be a long, arduous, and frustrating process. Everything we see here, however, revolves around XRP and the XRP ledger, including the real estate NFTs on the XRP ledger. Streamline the process of buying, selling, and renting homes. Ripple partner Appropriate House will use the XRP ledger to produce and distribute NFTs. Since we do take this into account, I anticipate a significant number of NFTs on the XRP blockchain. In my opinion, the real estate industry as a whole represents a massive opportunity for the XRP blockchain. We find that real estate is a global asset class worth over $300 trillion. Is implemented, the total valuation of this project will be enormous. We examined Medico, too, so a big thank you goes out to XRP Darren, of 21 More's Twitter fame, for posting the graphic you see above. It's about Medico. The Medico announcement was undoubtedly noteworthy, and our conversation about it led us to uncover some new information. I did a bit of a deep dive into Medico once upon a time, but now we have other people doing some great work, and once more, XRP Darren is one that has been doing a ton of work around the space for so long. He's an incredible individual, particularly in the realm of research. You should definitely check him out over on YouTube and on Twitter. Asset tokenization, which includes regulated traditional securities, shares, bonds, and illiquid financial instruments, is generating the most buzz in the banking industry. Not only will this democratize investment, but it might help shore up liquidity in what are currently relatively illiquid markets. As I mentioned, real estate, private equity funds, commodities, fine wines, etc. can all be digitalized and fractionalized on a DLT, making them cheaper for individual investors to acquire. Subject matter specialist at Medico is named Catherine Glacier Nord. I just double-checked to be sure I spelled her name correctly. Over the next several years, the value of tokenized assets is projected to soar to over $20 trillion, and over the longer term, it may reach $350 trillion or more. Now, as I've just mentioned, real estate is a $300 trillion industry worldwide. Taking this into account, it is possible that significant sums of money will be invested in cryptocurrencies in what appears to be an instant. Once more, you should know that things happen quickly in space. To the contrary, I believe that tokenization's market cap has the potential to be enormous. We've seen a lot of publications come out that have discussed this at length, but none of them accurately predict how far it can go. In fact, they all vary slightly in terms of its worth. For instance, by 2030, the city anticipates that tokenized assets would be worth $4 trillion. It has also been predicted that by 2030, $5 trillion in assets will have been tokenized. Also from Citi has been fluctuating between $4 and $5 trillion for some time now. We also predicted that $16 trillion in illiquid assets would be tokenized by 2030. Again, as we do look at these illiquid assets, it's uncertain on where we may go, and this was posted 8 months ago from a Boston consulting group BCG. However, in my opinion, real estate is going to be a major emphasis as we examine the market. On the other hand, the concept of tokenization has been met with skepticism in many parts of the world. And what they've been doing is actually creating a lot of regulatory frameworks around them, because they do see the overall benefit of asset tokenization, especially around real estate, which is the one I've been focusing on for so long because it really is a ripe for disruption markets, especially for tokenization. What you see on the Denton's website is an introduction to fractional real estate investments, sometimes known as the tokenization of real estate. All down to explore 3 major advantages of real estate tokenization: reduced transaction costs, increased liquidity, and lowered entry barriers. The main point here is that if we're talking about the major advantages of tokenization, then yes, all of these are substantial time and money savers in the real estate business. The largest challenge is that we need to overcome securities regulations, consequences, and reconciliation with land registries in order to make this a reality. Those implications are a major hurdle. After we clear those, we can go on to other issues. These rules have caused a lot of headaches. However, I think the second hurdle will be straightforward to clear. However, as I mentioned before, many regions throughout the world have advanced much in their legal frameworks on this because they see its worth. Time is needed for that. Things like, even if there are a lot of valuations here to look at $16 trillion, $5 trillion, $4 trillion, then $20 trillion in the following few years, and perhaps might approach $365 trillion plus in the longer future. In the short term, I believe the yes will bring in a lot of money, perhaps tens of trillions of dollars. While it may appear as though we'll suddenly be flush with hundreds of trillions of dollars, that's not how it'll actually happen. I could see hundreds of trillions. In the near run, I could see tens of trillions, but that isn't going to happen anytime soon. I expect it to occur within the next few years, most likely within the next decade. Therefore, a great deal depends on this. There's a lot to be said about this in print. Starting to see a lot more action in the tokenization space, even as recently as yesterday when the World Bank turned to blockchain technology to tokenize its infrastructure process in the face of regulatory hurdles. The World Bank, a preeminent institution, is nevertheless present despite the prevalence of regulatory problems. Infrastructure and other projects are being considered for tokenization using blockchain technology. Therefore, this is really significant. We're at it, let's see what's up with tokenization. As in, we're putting a lot of effort into this particular region. Because I think this will be widely used in the near future. Tokenization is going to be a major trend in the near future. And it's happening whether people like it or not, so if you can get behind this, you'll enjoy the perks and rewards. Take a closer look at the industry as a whole. I believe we are witnessing a significant shift toward the widespread adoption of utility-driven processes, digital tokenization, and the digitization of workflows. These represent significant areas of opportunity because they threaten to upend established industries and markets. This is why I've been so intent on specializing in the real estate market. It's a sector in desperate need of a disruption, and I mean that literally. For so long, the real estate market has been riding out on illiquidity, and as you well know, this is a major issue for both buyers and sellers because there is no fractionalization. Therefore, there is a very high barrier to entrance. But there are also many other complications. Tokenization of the real estate market may eventually lead to greater transparency, which is something we should keep in mind as we examine other potential areas of increased openness. The overall operation can run more efficiently and with fewer main expenses if this is done. Seemingly, many remarkable gains in efficiency can be made. If we take a look at tokenization, everyone seems to be fixated on Ripple and what it's doing with cross-border payments. However, I believe that more attention should be paid to what Ripple is doing with utility-based NFTs in other markets, such as the real estate industry, since this is CBDC use case with this announcement. And if you're wondering why this makes me so happy, consider that even a small fraction of the market's disruption caused by Ripple using the XRP ledger could result in a huge influx of value being transferred to the XRP ledger. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button and turn on your notifications. See you in the next video. Bye.